Beyond the Gates. Spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th indicate Chelsea Hamilton will have an uphill battle ahead, as Thomas Navarro will have a dilemma to figure out. Chelsea was rescued during the Monday, September 8th episode, but considering the trauma that Allison placed her through, it'll be hard for the purse designer social media influencer to just move on with her life. In fact, Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree will worry that Chelsea has been pushed to her limits, so it sounds like she'll struggle in the aftermath of her kidnapping. Speaking of, Chelsea's parents, Bill Hamilton and Danny Dupree, have gotten super close during their daughter's stalker crisis. BTG spoilers hint that Naomi Hawthorne will catch a moment between the two that she won't approve of. Could Bill and Danny share a kiss? It would seem odd that a hug or embrace would rub Naomi the wrong way. In other news, Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday imply that someone will ask Toma'S for help to fight the Dupree family. This has Leslie and Eva Thomas written all over it, especially considering what went down during the September 8th show. Ted Richardson duped Leslie into believing that he was going to give her the mansion that he and Nicole Richardson shared during their marriage. This was all in an effort to get her to stop trying to buy the house across the street from Vernon and Anita. When Leslie realized Ted had pulled the wool over her eyes, she felt humiliated and got very emotional. Eva wasn't happy with the way Ted stopped Leslie from the home purchase. Sure, she had asked for his assistance in trying to convince Leslie against the idea, but the tactics he used were— Now it looks like Eva may turn to Toma'S for some legal help, but will the lawyer be willing to stick his neck out for them? After all, Bill is his boss, and while he hasn't always seen eye to eye with Vernon, it's hard to believe he'd okay Toma'S leading a lawsuit on his former parents-in-law and grandparents to his kids. In addition, Beyond the Gates spoilers remind fans that despite Tom being fond of Eva, he's not so fond of her that he'd go against his girlfriend Catherine "Cat" Richardson's family. He knows the very thought would have her reeling too. Tensions remain high at the Dupree house, where Haley is clearly miffed when her hubby gives Danny a box of special mementos he's kept. This includes a drawing Chelsea did as a child, picturing her family during happier times. As for their daughter, she's in a life-or-death struggle with— The family gathers for a call from Kat, who reveals that she, Jacob, and Madison are driving toward a Virginia cabin where they think Chelsea's being held captive. But the call is interrupted by what sounds an awful lot like a car crash. Fighting for her life, Chelsea gets the upper hand and comes dang close to strangling the life out of Allison. Just then, Jacob barges into the cabin, followed by Kat and Madison. Chelsea is taken to the hospital to be checked out, while Allison is taken into custody by Jacob. Having barged in, Leslie brags about Ted having given her the house. "Not so fast," says Nicole. "Ted can't give away Ish, 'cause he doesn't actually own the house. She does." Leslie heads straight to Eva's hotel room, where she finds Ted and puts him on blast. He admits the whole thing was a setup, basically a gift, allowing Nicole to get the upper hand over Leslie. Eva isn't happy with her dad, who refuses to apologize to her mom. "So what, she got her wig a little ruffled? I would do this again in a heartbeat," he insists, given how Leslie upended his entire life. Upset with Ted, Eva kicks him out of her hotel room and comforts her distraught mom, saying she's fully in her corner. Ted swings by to check on Nicole, who actually thanks him for keeping that woman from buying the house across the street from Anita and Vernon. She even invites him to join her at the hospital to see Chelsea. Meanwhile, Haley tries talking to Naomi, who refuses to let her former bestie use the situation to worm her way back into their lives. Since Beyond the Gates premiere, the deliciously wiggy Leslie has been all about Ted, whether getting back at him or getting him back. But all these months later, shouldn't it be time for her to consider another man? One who might, who knows, love her back? "Well, you're kind of onto something," portrayer Trisha Mann Grant tells Soaps.com. "I can't quite spill the beans yet, but let's just put it like this. No matter who else Leslie looks at or pursues, trust and know that there is always an agenda, and Ted is always her number one." Fans have speculated for some time that maybe Big Bad Bill is Eva's father, not Ted. Now that would be a shock to Leslie, Man Grant says. She'd probably be very unhappy. But beneath Leslie and Bill's hatred of one another, could there be something more, like, say, passion? Given that both characters are remorseless connivers, the actress muses, "There's so much that we could do together, and there would certainly never be a dull moment between them." Absolutely, they would just be at it all the time. And with Haley, Danny, or both in the mix, there'd be so much chaos within the drama of that little love triangle, or whatever shape it takes. In real life, Man Grant has known castmate Timon Kyle Durrett for over 30 years, I believe, she says. "We're both from Chicago. We worked on a George Tillman film together, Scenes for the Soul, way back in the 90s. It's so crazy how time brings such a change in people's lives," she adds. "And now here we come full circle, working together on Beyond the Gates." I love it. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Monday, September 8th, hint at some explosive moments as violence will erupt at the cabin where Chelsea Hamilton is being held hostage. And Ted Richardson sports a new attitude. The new CBS soap is finally returning with new episodes, as the week of September 1st to 5th was filled with reruns. The last fans saw of Chelsea, she was chained to a bed in a weird cabin out in the middle of nowhere, as her ex-girlfriend, Allison, was able to kidnap her and was holding her hostage there. As the Dupree family, more specifically Jacob Hawthorne and Catherine Kate Richardson, are desperately trying to rescue Chelsea, she's sure to arrive back in Fairmont Crest safe and sound at some point during the week of September 8 to 12. Still, not without having to deal with more trauma along the way, as BTG spoilers do imply that Allison will pull a knife on Chelsea during the September 8th episode. It looks like Chelsea will be able to ward off her crazy stalker without getting too hurt, but just how will she be able to protect herself against the unhinged Allison, considering she's chained to a bed? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Over in Fairmont Crest, Leslie Thomas will be completely caught off guard and feel as if her entire world has been flipped upside down. During the week of August 25th to 29th, Ted had promised Leslie that he'd give her his family home. He seemed sincere when he said he wanted Eva Thomas and Lalise to have a house they could call home. But Beyond the Gates fans know the entire story was just lip service to stop her from buying the mansion across from the Dupree family. Leslie will likely realize she's been duped on Monday's show, and it sounds like the baddie will get overly emotional about what Ted's done. Sure, he pulled off quite the scheme, so it sounds like Leslie can dish out the manipulative mind games, but can't take it when the tables are turned on her. Regardless, Eva will see a new side to her father after Monday's show. So will she approve of his antics, or be disgusted by the lengths he went to keep her mom out of Fairmont Crest? Ted's move may derail the growing bond he's developed with his long-lost daughter. The main reason he did so was to try and appease Nicole Richardson by getting Leslie to back off on buying the mansion near her parents' place. Beyond the Gates, spoilers imply this plot may backfire on Ted, as he likely won't get any thanks from Nicole, but also create a wedge between him and Eva too. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest some major moments during the week of September 8 to 12, and there are also some casting changes to talk about. Who's coming and who's going on the CBS soap over the next 5 days? Read more below. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of September 8th. Note that fans will see Samantha Richardson, played by Nadja Jackson, take center stage. Added teasers imply that she'll scheme, and as the girl is very good-natured and has only plotted to bring her two dads together, this might be the goal for her scheming next week. Bradley Smitty Smith and Martin Richardson will continue to reconnect over the next 5 days, so perhaps Samantha will do something to help nudge their reunion along. Then again, Samantha's scheming could center around her biological mom, June, so fans will have to tune in to find out what the young girl is up to and who she'll be plotting against. Over at the deserted cabin, it looks like Allison, played by Brianna Roberts, will continue her run as Chelsea Hamilton's unhinged ex-girlfriend, turned stalker, turned kidnapper. The good news is that Chelsea will be rescued at some point during the week of September 8 to 12. The interesting news is that it seems uncertain whether Allison's storyline will wrap up after this week. A BTG promo that was released during the week of September 5 hints that this may not be the end of the road for Allison after all. Fans are expecting her impending arrest as she did stalk Chelsea, kidnap her, taunt her at the cabin, and things will turn violent early on next week. However, there could be a chance that Allison is released from police custody on a legal stipulation. This is the land of soaps, right? Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of September 8th indicate that after a week filled with reruns, new episodes will return. Chelsea Hamilton is rescued, while Haley Hamilton is fed up with playing second fiddle, and Derek Baldwin has a secret. Chelsea Hamilton's rescue beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of September 8th reveal that despite Chelsea's kidnapping taking a violent turn, she'll eventually be rescued. With that said, Allison's fate in the aftermath of all this seems uncertain, and she'll make a bizarre request midweek. In other news, Chelsea will make a quick decision about a situation that catches Catherine "Cat" Richardson off guard. Speaking of Cat, she'll catch some close moments between two duos and get upset over both of them. Does she see Eva Thomas bonding with Toma'S Navarro? Will she potentially see Nicole Richardson and Carlton Fitzgerald flirting up a storm? Across town, Haley will be done with Bill Hamilton continually pushing her aside. It's clear that this Chelsea kidnapping situation has drawn him and Danny Dupree closer, and it will rub Haley the wrong way. Meanwhile, during the week of September 8th, Naomi Hawthorne will see something go down between her parents, and she won't approve. Will the two share a hug or more? Lastly, Danny will turn to Vanessa McBride and confess her feelings, which sounds like Ms. Dupree still longs for her ex. Whatever Danny says has Vanessa running to see her current love interest, Joey Armstrong. Beyond the Gate spoilers imply that Leslie Thomas will feel as if the rug has been pulled out from under her this coming week. It looks like this has something to do with the stunt Ted Richardson pulled during the week of August 25-29, where he promised her his family home. Regardless, Eva will see a new side to her dad, but will she like what she sees, or will she be disgusted? As the week progresses, Ted confronts Nicole when he isn't given a pat on the back for his efforts. Finally, Toma'S will be asked to battle the Duprees, but will he agree to it? And will it be Leslie and Eva who ask him for help? Elsewhere, Derek will be keeping a secret. Could he be lying or exaggerating about his condition? As the weekend hits, something will prompt Ashley Morgan to make a bold move. As the week wraps up, Bradley Smitty Smith and Martin Richardson will reconnect, and another Fairmont Crest couple will also get closer. Who could this other couple be? Fans will have to tune in to find out. In addition, Samantha Richardson will scheme, but will this be for the greater good of her family, or for another reason? We get that Eva knows she's the only one in town who will back her mom. Despite Leslie using her daughter to help enact her savage plan of revenge, Eva has never been able to write her mother off completely. After the Monday, September 8th episode of Beyond the Gates, it seems like their bond is stronger than ever. Ted tricked Leslie, who felt defeated and vulnerable in a way we hadn't seen her before. Eva fell for that since she sided against her father. Why? Ted engineered a scheme, and he didn't tell Nicole about it. But no worries. She sussed it out fairly quickly and was able to play along. Ted told Leslie that he would give her his house as long as she didn't buy the mansion across the street from Anita and Vernon's home. And in doing so, she would help him stick it to Nicole, who wanted a divorce. Of course, Leslie couldn't be patient. She hightailed it to Nicole's so she could, in essence, kick her to the curb. It was her pleasure to try to throw Nicole out of the house, despite the fact that the psychiatrist hadn't done much of anything to her since Leslie came roaring back into town. Well, Nicole did try to choke Leslie that one time. While Nicole didn't know about Ted's plan, she quickly got on board. She gave Leslie a verbal thrashing that was long overdue. Leslie didn't take Nicole's verbal beatdown well. It made her feel like she was this small, and on top of it, the house across from Vernon and Anita's was no longer in play. She showed up at Eva's hotel room, licking her wounds. Too bad Ted was there too. Dana couldn't believe she got played. Meanwhile, Ted showed no sympathy. As far as he was concerned, Leslie got what she deserved. Eva didn't see it the same way. Ted humiliated her mother and put her in a no-win situation. Ted schemed and actually won this round. But that's not how Eva saw things. She could only see things from her mom's perspective, that she has come into all this new money and has just as much right to live beyond the gates as anybody else, which she does. But she didn't see it from her dad's perspective. It wasn't just his life Leslie destroyed. The focus of her attack was as much on Nicole. Leslie didn't take it easy on Nicole. In fact, she humiliated the woman in front of the whole anniversary party. And Leslie didn't take the normal approach of trying to find a Fairmont Crest mansion on the market. She tried to bulldoze her way to living across from Anita and Vernon because she wanted to be in their faces. It's like Eva doesn't remember what else Leslie did to get payback against Nicole, like running down Laura and then trying to kill her in the hospital. Instead, Eva was more than disappointed in her dad and threw him out of her hotel room. Everyone needs an ally, and it's good that Leslie has Eva. But there are times when Leslie shouldn't get sympathy. This was one of those times. How do you feel now that BTG has returned with new episodes? What did you think of Eva, Ted, Leslie/Nicole? And what did you think of Chelsea's rescue? Let us know in the comments. It wasn't that long ago that CBS staged a crossover between its #1 soap opera and the newest one on the block. In August, Genoa City's Devin Hamilton took a meeting with the DMV's Anita and Vernon Dupree at the Fairmont Crest Country Club. The Young and the Restless, Das Beyond the Gates, even featured a sparks-filled run-in between Danny and Devin. Well, guess who Danny is about to run into this fall when a BTG in Bold and the Beautiful crossover takes place? It all starts when Danny and Andre take an impromptu trip together. According to CBS, this trip will lead to shocking revelations, and it directs Danny toward a promising connection with a leading force at Forrester Creations. Yes, this promising connection is with Ridge Forrester, which means a BTG B&B crossover is on the way. Danny used to be a supermodel and is still famous. Plus, she and Pamela started their own modeling agency. Meanwhile, Ridge is the co-CEO of Forrester Creations, a company famous for its impeccable designs, fashion shows, and global presence. Now, the company has branched out to luxury offshoots within the Forrester umbrella, like jewelry and perfume. This means Danny and Ridge could have a lot to talk about, professionally and personally. The Duprees are titans politically, charitably, and fashionably. So may Danny and Ridge's paths have crossed before? This crossover is also a reunion between Carla Mosley and Thorsten Kaye. Before BTG, Mosley was one of Kaye's castmates on B&B. She played Maya Evant, who was married to Brooke and Eric's son, Rick Forrester. Jaws dropped everywhere when Maya's biggest secret was revealed. She was a transgender woman. It was a groundbreaking role, one that Mosley knocked out of the park before exiting the show for good in 2020. Unfortunately, there is no word on an air date for this crossover event just yet. Are you excited for a crossover between Beyond the Gates on Bold and the Beautiful? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. The Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, suggest that Toma'S could take down the Duprees. Will he take the bait? Toma'S will be asked to battle the Duprees. Eva doesn't want to see her mom get hurt again. She's already been through enough. On Tuesday's episode, Eva will probably turn to her trusted friend and confidant, Toma'S. Does he want to fight against the Duprees? This could be a losing battle. Eva knows she can rely on Toma's's legal knowledge. But he doesn't want to do anything unethical. The last thing he wants to do is lose his career. But will Eva work her magic to get him to do what she wants? Toma'S still needs to run everything by Bill. He also respects the Duprees, especially the women, so this will put him in a difficult spot. Anita and Vernon feel they pushed the limits for one of their own kids. They admitted they would do anything for their family, but they like to push the boundaries, even when their kids don't want them involved. The parents likely have regrets, but they would probably make the same decision if they had to do it all over again. Naomi doesn't like what she sees from her parents' perspective. Although she has seemingly made amends with her father, that doesn't mean she's excited to see them together again. Will she keep her opinions to herself, or will she confront the truth? BTG fans would like to see her embrace her inner Dupree. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of September 8 to 12 involve the end of Chelsea's kidnapping, Leslie being blindsided, and Haley being fed up with Bill pushing her aside. Here are 3 more moments that are on our radar. Derek has had it rough lately. He might not regain the use of his legs after getting injured during the triathlon, but it's not all bad. Ashley is right by his side, taking care of him. and she made sure Shanice took charge of his physical therapy. But the Thursday teasers say Derek is harboring a secret. Pure speculation, but could he have regained the full use of his legs? And he decided not to tell Ashley or any of the other medical staff? Is he about to use his injury to his advantage to keep Ashley in his vicinity? It's the soapy thing to do. By the end of the week, Chelsea is free and she's safe, but she has experienced a tremendous amount of trauma, and that stays with a person for a long time, especially if they don't get therapy or any other form of help. On Thursday, Chelsea shocks her cousin with an abrupt decision. She could decide to delete all her social media accounts. Allison had a certain perception of Chelsea because she followed Chelsea on social media. She watched and obsessed over her posts and thought she knew everything about the purse designer. But she didn't. She only knew what Chelsea put out there online. She didn't know the real Chelsea Hamilton. If this is what happens, how will Kat react to this development? Speaking of Kat, on Friday, the junior detective witnesses a couple of somethings she may wish she hadn't. The teasers suggest that Kat spies two duos in close moments, and she's upset by both. Could one close moment involve Toma'S and Eva? If it does, you'd think she'd be happy to be rid of the guy. Kat and Toma'S do not easily connect on the dance floor or the bedroom. Who do you think the second duo could be? Leslie and Ted. If this is the case, she will feel beyond betrayed. She despises Leslie, so how would she react? Would she unload all over her dad and her enemy? Would she tell her mom? After this week of repeats, Beyond the Gates finally gets back to business with more intense drama surrounding Chelsea's kidnapping. Doug witnessing his wife in Joey's arms, Nicole showing her displeasure with Ted, and a dejected Leslie crying to Eva. Here is the video preview for September 8, 12. This week on BTG, Joey doesn't mince words with Vanessa. I have no problem lying to Doug if it means bringing you back to me where you belong, the casino owner explained. As Joey and Vanessa are practically in heat at the casino, Doug walks in and witnesses his wife with Joey, and Joey witnesses Doug witnessing them. Elsewhere, Nicole is livid. If Ted thought giving his house to Leslie so she wouldn't move across the street from Anita, and Vernon was a superhero move, he'd better think again. You need applause? Here you go, Nicole screams at her soon-to-be ex-husband. Of course, Ted didn't take into account that Leslie would go to the house and humiliate Nicole before he ever got the chance to tell Nicole about his plan. What is wrong with him? Cut to Leslie crying to Eva, presumably over whatever Nicole said to her. It's hard to feel sorry for her after she purposely went over to her mansion to throw her out. However, teasers for Monday suggest Leslie is blindsided. So is that what has her feeling so defeated? In more pressing news, Kat, Jacob, Us, and Madison are on their way to get Chelsea. Kat's FaceTiming her family, saying, I'll text you the address, when it looks like they may get into an accident. Jacob, look out for that truck, Kat screams. Will they be okay? Finally, Chelsea is in a dire situation with Allison, the kidnapper who's attacking Chelsea with a big ol' knife. Chelsea is beyond over this woman. Crazy-ass bitch! I've had it with you! She yells. Will Jacob, Kat, and Madison get there in time? Here are your spoilers for Beyond the Gates. On Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, in Tuesday's episode, Anita and Vernon worry they pushed the limits for one of their own. Anita and Vernon have always stated they would do anything for family, and they have certainly done that. But they have also pushed boundaries and done many things that hindsight would cast in a new light. Do they have regrets? Sure, but would they do it all again if needed? Most definitely. Throughout the crisis of Chelsea's kidnapping, Bill Hamilton and his ex-wife, Dani, have been showing a united front. But is that all it is? There have been several touching moments where the two have looked close and cozy together. Is Bill rethinking his decision to leave Dani? Haley is very aware of what it looks like and where she thinks Bill's feelings lie. In Tuesday's episode, Naomi doesn't like what she sees where her parents are concerned. Naomi has made semi-amends with her father, but seeing them together again isn't on her list of things she wants to happen. Will she keep her feelings and thoughts to herself, or, being a Dupree woman, confront them head-on? After Ted's deception, Eva cannot stand to see her mom get hurt again. She immediately seeks out her friend and confidant, Toma'S. In Tuesday's episode, Toma'S is asked to battle the Duprees. Is this the fight he really wants to stake his name on? Taking on the legendary and mighty Duprees? Eva will be seeking to enlist Toma'S as a legal weapon, but Toma'S has his limits, and his career means a lot to him. Will Eva get let down as well? Toma'S will need to run everything by his boss, Bill. While he may enjoy sparring with the Duprees, he has also forged a new relationship underpinning respect with Vernon, and any move against the Duprees would shatter any such relationship. Toma'S may have to deliver bad news to Eva. Tomorrow, lovers of Beyond the Gates. Tomorrow, after a week's worth of encore episodes, we finally get to pick up where we left off on August 29th. And we'll find out, or at least get closer to finding out, whether Chelsea's honeymoon turns to bloodshed, whether Kat, Madison, and Jacob survive their trip to Virginia, and whether Ted punked Leslie in terms of giving her his house. Plus so much more. However, two final questions from this series of articles loom over all installments in the foreseeable future, and those are what we're going to take a look at here. With June confirmed as Tyrell and Samantha's mother, the logical conclusion is to wonder who the teen's father is. And Bill has been mentioning his own off-screen piece of crap pop enough lately that you know the guy is going to turn up sooner or later. Ready to do some paternal poke-arounding? There probably weren't many of us who gave much thought to who Tyrell and Samantha's biological parents were, at least at first. The kiddos made the odd comment here and there about their lives before being adopted by Smitty and Martin, but they've preferred to focus on their present and avoid the more difficult days of their early childhoods. That changed when it turned out the mysterious image of children that the homeless June carried around wasn't just made up of cutouts from a magazine or found in a dumpster behind a Sears portrait studio. They were actually the kids of whom June had relinquished custody, given names Ron and Cecile. Since we now know this info is legit and not one of June's as the world turns fever dreams, the next inevitable blank is the biggest one to be filled. Who is June's baby daddy? Maybe the next thing we should ask is, do we really want to know? June's past with drugs has been well documented up to this point. That she was perpetually fried was the reason she called Child Protective Services on herself and had the kids removed to the foster care system. Sordid as it is, there's no limit to who June could have had sex with while high. And since Samantha and Tyrell are a year apart, they could both even have different fathers. We just don't know. On the flip side, perhaps June was in a happy, stable, drug-free relationship, or a marriage, at the time Cecile and Ron were conceived. That means they could have a secure, loving papa. Maybe June started using, and her husband divorced her over it. Maybe he died, and June turned to substances to deal with the pain. The possibilities are nearly endless there, too. Suffice it to say, June didn't exactly get pregnant by herself. It was just a matter of what stage of her life she was in 7, and 6 years before she gave up Tyrell and Samantha, since those were their ages when they became motherless. The father figuring doesn't end there. Bill, in the middle of his multiple dramas involving current and ex-wives, biff-powing politicians, and philandering plastic surgeons, made sudden mention of his dick of a dad. One time, random musings about a character's past? Not uncommon. But so far, Bill has brought up his father on 4 separate occasions. And if you're fluent in the dialect of soap speak, you know that this dialogue means the condescending cad is going to appear on our screens before too long. Bill has given no hint as to the man's name, nor to his whereabouts. It's even true that we can't be 100% sure the man is alive. Yet our fixer has made it very clear that his pop was stingy with the compliments and more likely to put Bill down than to prop him up. That was why, Bill told Vernon, he was so hungry for his former father-in-law's respect. If you think Bill is scummy, and let's face it, he kinda is, this Mr. Hamilton must be Prince Damn Charming compared to his progenitor. Given Bill's ability to command courtrooms and bedrooms alike, a chance to watch Bill cower to some emasculating blowhard can only be must-see TV. At the rate this senior Hamilton is being alluded to, certainly it's imminent that we're going to meet him. Now, of course, you've got theories, Fairmont Crest faithful. Who do you think fathered Samantha and Tyrell? Considering June's rocky past, would the man be friend or foe? What about Bill's dad? Is the dude as terrible as Bill keeps describing him? Or has he maybe mellowed out over the years? Would you like to see a beloved daytime vet play the polarizing patriarch?